Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Dance. We are playing more Final Fantasy XIV. Last episode we continued with the MSQ, learning some interesting things about Gosetsu still being alive, and Yotsuyu too, even though Yotsuyu has lost her memory. And, ooh, that actually does not look too bad. And this episode we are going to go and... we also started working on the Four Lords questline, which is going to be our main focus from now until we are done. So, just keep that in mind. That will be the focus for now, and then we will return back to the main story afterwards. A friend of mine, Tamamo Gozen, once called this place home, possessed of 9 tails. Her power far eclipsed my own. But one day she left to live amongst men. What became of her, I wonder? Oh, she became a big fate that you can do in Yangsha. A really rare one for that matter. Judging from the way you and that woman are gawping, I'm guessing you're not from around here. Don't know how it is in your homeland, but here, if an animal manages to survive 100 years, it begins to get ideas, delusions of grandeur. Some small power, sure, but nothing much to speak of. Survive 10 times that and you become a full-fledged auspice. Though, speech, magics, it's quite a change, believe me. Which is why we call it the change. What? I never said it was something clever. Anyway, point is, don't let our appearances fool you. I could kill you 5 times before you hit the ground, but I won't, on account of me being civil for now. Right. Hey, that hurt. You didn't have to give it everything you got in that fight, you know? I only just went through the change. It's not like I was gonna slow you down that much. Well, suppose you didn't know it was all for show, but that was probably really intimidating. Oh, right. You were asking about the collective, weren't you? Let's see, Genpo's the oldest of us, oldest in the Far East too, I think. One of the 4 lords, so... as you can imagine, he's much more powerful than regular or auspices like me. But you probably knew that already. Boom. Now that you have a greater understanding of who we are, I shall tell you of the rather thorny predicament we now face. The divinity of the auspices manifests in myriad ways. For example, I possess clairvoyance, and with my preternatural power have I seen a vision of the Ruby Sea, of Yangsha, of Hingashi, subsumed by roaring flames. This is no distant future, I fear, and if we are to avert it, we must needs enlist the assistance of an exemplary warrior, one such as she who faced the Lord of the Revel and lived. What should we do? What should we do? Fear not, little one, for I have a plan. But to understand it, you must first understand the duality which lies at the heart of the auspices. The Aramitama, the primal rage, and the Nigimitama, the boundless calm. These elemental forces comprise the soul of an auspice, and it is only when they are in balance that we are truly ourselves. Alas, over great spans of time, or when caught in the midst of tumultuous events, this balance may be disrupted, and the soul may be divided. An auspice overcome by the Aramitama is a wild, feral thing, all the more dangerous for the divinity. Calamity and catastrophe invariably follow, tremors and floods, which destroy men's works. Auspices can bring about these natural disasters? How frightening. Perhaps, but you must remember that there are auspices who delight in aiding the peoples of these lands, auspices who may have even wreaked havoc in the past. Recall you the tale of Tenzin and the 4 lords? The one Soroban told us before, about a samurai and the auspices who drove the Oni from this island into the sea. Just so. I fear his accounting of events is not quite accurate, for it was not only we and Tenzin cast out from this place, but an auspice. An auspice with the power to move heaven and earth, Koryu, wholly consumed by the Aramitama. He stoked the flames in this island's heart until it very nearly erupted in a fiery maelstrom. Tenzin led us in battle against our mad brother, and together we sealed him in his temple. But as the truth of the tale fades from memory, so too do our wards weaken, I fear. Should Koryu break free, he may well finish what he began, and ensure my vision of flames comes to pass. So, long story short, you want Lyn to give this Koryu what for, and for when he wakes up? I should think not. Her accomplishments notwithstanding, it would be foolish for any mortal to face Koryu without proper assistance. To wit, that of the 4 lords. Regrettably, I am not the young auspice I once was, and to make matters worse, my 3 compeers have nearly succumbed to the Aramitama. Can't be fulfilled. See, the 4 lords have gone mad. The Ruby Sea is doomed. Nearly succumbed, nearly, alas, in marshalling their strength to retain control, they are unable to commit their powers to the preservation of the wards holding Koryu in his prison. And now that you have a full and complete understanding of the situation, we may at last discuss your part in all this. Warrior, I would have you and your comrades face mine in battle and quell their raging Aramitama. What say you? So don't get to kill them? Well, that's still something. Very well. If that is the only way. Oh ho ho, you are an intriguing one, aren't you? We are grateful for your assistance. Let us brook no further delay and introduce you to another of the four lords. I informed Byakko of your arrival when you first entered our domain. He should be returning any moment now. Come, come. Old friend, the day of reckoning draws nigh. The wards will fail and Koryu will break free. Before he does, you must quell the raging Aramitama in your soul. This warrior will help. Doubt not her strength, for she has danced with Susanoo himself. A bold, audacious claim, yet if Genbu believes it true, the more I look at you, the more I see you, the more of him I see. Similar presence, perchance, a light. Very well. I will bow to my brother's judgment. Wonderful. Then without further ado, I should bid my comrade relax and surrender to the Aramitama. Oh, what, here? Now? Won't he go on a murderous rampage? Why, yes, that's rather the point. You will be reduced to the feral beast. And then it will be Lin's turn to do battle with my brother and help him quell the fury within. But if all it takes to quell the Aramitama is battle, then why did you not do the same for Koryu? Why steal him away? Because it was too late. As I said, Koryu was wholly consumed by the Aramitama. Naught remained of the Nikki Mitama. All that he was forever lost to us. The effort I expend to hold back the fury, I will instead use to safeguard the calm. It is then you must act. But know that if you fail, it will only hasten my fall. My soul is in your keeping, Lin. Do you understand? Then let us quit this place. Genbu may not mind the chaos, but I am to wager my everything. I prefer to do so in the land of my birth. To look on those familiar wilds with eyes that may soon belong to another. When you return to the island, look for Furi. He will guide you back here. Given the circumstances, perhaps it is best that we stay here. Would that be acceptable? Oh ho ho, Saraban was it? Be at ease. I have a task for you and your excitable urchin. Follow me. Did that tiny talking turtle just insult me? At least it didn't spend more than your freaking coffers have. God damn this fucking bird. I love this bird because it looks awesome, but man, when I'm this close to Lin, it is blinding to say the least. You know, when I see this, like, you can't expect me not to get it. So let's look at it. What a dog doing? We are here. My earliest memories are not pleasant. From birth I was shunned by man and beast alike. For my snow-white fur marked me a harbinger of doom. Cast out and hunted, I struggled to survive. But I endured. I grew older and wiser. And one day I resolved to protect this place and those who call it home. For in spite of everything, it was mine as well. In time, they came to see me as a guardian instead of a demon. And yet, for all I have done to rise above the beast within, I may fall to madness and become the sum of their fears. Have faith. You will not fall. Such confidence from one so young. But as age in and of itself does not confirm wisdom, nor does youth go hand in hand with hubris. I warn you, for centuries has my Aramitama grown and festered. Hold nothing back, for I will not. Warrior, the time has come for you and yours to make ready. May the Kami grant you strength to save my soul. As we unlock the Jade Stoa. Alright. I'm gonna be doing this as a monk. Monkey. Monkey. However, knowing the way that it usually is for things like these, this is probably going to take, a long time. And none of my friends are online, so I'm gonna go and check this again though, because I feel like I've seen this before. Like outside of this dungeon. Nah, whatever. Anyway, my friends, I'll be right back for you guys, and for me, more than 13 minutes probably. It says 13 minutes, but I don't believe it. Anyway, I'll be back. Only took 30 minutes. Fucking hell, man. Oh, trials. I love them, but man, queuing up for them is hell.
Receive of me my fury, children of man, and quell it!
That is, of course, the obvious result. What he would look like. I need to zoom out. Alright, this fucking guy. Once again, I remember most things from the extreme versions, and less so from the normal versions, but we'll see how it goes. Heavenly Strike, I think that's a Tank Buster. There you go. It sure is. State of Shock. It's gonna grab, I think, one of the tanks. And then we're gonna have to stack. And get behind him. Once again, in a normal fight, there's not too many caveats to all these things, but that I have Heavenly Strike. But in the extreme, there's of course much more little cheeky little things added to all of these mechanics. Roar, Wild Rage, Unrelenting Anguish. I'm just gonna make balls appear. Just avoid the balls. Fire and Lightning. Big ol' lane. And another one. Just for good measure. And damn it, the balls keep coming. Don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Feels really weird when I play Monk and I don't have to think about all my buffs and debuffs anymore. Lights cursed my foes. Just gonna get his tiger out. Which is just a glorified DPS check. Ooh, that's a good burst. No, you bitch! How dare you? Anyway, flare, and then some fire and lightning, meaning that I can't do anything. Man, would have been so good of a burst if he didn't fucking disappear in the middle of that. Now it's ruined! Oh well. Roar of Thunder is an attack that's going to do a certain amount of damage depending on how much HP the tiger has left. I don't know the specifics of it, but it does more damage the more HP he still has left. At least it does so in the extreme. I think it's probably the same in this one.
All creation trembles before my might. Behold, furry given form.
Behold, furry given form. I mean, yeah, he is quite a furry. And he's hot too, so gives him even more reason to be a furry. Oh no, he is hot.
My wrath is a ceaseless torrent.
And we get this freaking skydiving part. It just means dodging the balls that he shoots. But also, his AoEs that he does. If you touch the wall during this, at any point you will immediately die. And the wall is a death wall. At least it is an extreme. Normal, I do not know, and I am not going to find that. That would seem like a bad idea. It's also quite funny when people die in this, like, you just start freaking free falling. Like, start plummeting down. It looks pretty funny. No more games. So we fall down. Tiger coming back. Never get the fucking tiger bomb. That's a lot of damage. Impressive! The amount of memes from this fight in my static are ridiculous. Behold, furry given form. Impressive! There's another one. Here's our Exaflares. I think I've already seen him. Yeah, we've seen him in Omega. I'm gonna get hit, yeah. That's what I get for doing a gap closer. Get another banger of a song, of course. Although I like the live version a lot more of this than the one in the game. State of shock, huh? Me? Hey, yo! No, well, they'll be fine without me, right? Yeah. I'm gonna keep doing that. It's also entirely in Japanese. At least for the most part, I think, right? Yeah, most of it is in Japanese. But there is some English to it, too. At least I think so. It's been a while since I actually read the lyrics. Sweep the leg. Got it. Another roar with rage. After making them a burst. I hope that I can actually do it this time. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna get hit. But I was not going to give up on my burst again, even though I just failed. I got hit again, wow. Yeah, these balls are a little wonky. Meet him with Final Heaven. Please hit, please hit, please hit before he dies. Not good enough. GG. Nice hit. He just needed a good clobbering. It's clobbering time. Well, hey. I got 3 commendations. Nice. As I obviously deserve, yes. Funny man. You're indeed a warrior, they say. Not unlike him in many respects. Story time. 'Twas in another era that we first met him, and I. Long, long before the kingdom of Doma. I told you before of my past, of how I was shunned by man and beast alike, for the snow-white fur that marked me as a harbinger of doom. Bereft of family and friendship, of home, I wandered the mountains in search of a place to call my own. There I would accept my fate and await the inevitable. But death did not come, for I was, unlike my brothers in more respects than my fur. With every century I grew stronger and stranger, monstrous, in turn. What few creatures dared traverse my domain withdrew further and further. Never had I been so alone. And then one day I awoke to find a man standing before me. Bewildered, I rose and bared my fangs. I roared in rage. Begone, or I shall rend you asunder and feast on your flesh. What fool has the temerity to approach me thus? But the man did not flee. Rather, he stood his ground and said, This fool is named Tenjin, and ever since he was a child he spoke the language of beasts. You know full well what you stand to lose. Return to your people or die. But Tenjin threw back his head and laughed. They would kill me if I dared. For fear of my talents I was banished. A harbinger of doom, they called me. But in that instant all my anger drained away. Tenjin's words had struck at the heart of me. Here was a fellow outcast, cursed by his kin for his very nature. I think Tenjin is a character from Final Fantasy XI. That night, as I listened to his snoring, I realized I had found in this man a kindred spirit. Soon after we embarked on our journey together, in the days that followed, we met other solitary souls, and aided them as we had aided each other. But those are tales for another time. I doubt very much you are willing to stand here in silence while I recount my every adventure with Tenjin. Come, let us return to the temple. Genbu is doubtless eager to learn the outcome of our battle. Baba Booey. Right. We have to go to, what's his name? Furry. Right. It's furry, but still. Furry. It's a furry. It's furries everywhere. ffXIV, the game about furries. I mean, there's definitely enough of them in the game if that's what you're looking for. I'm just reminded of something that released very recently, which has stoked the furry community a little bit. Hello. I need to explain. Genbu's told me all about you and the thrashing you gave him and the others. Need me to escort you back to the temple? Yep. Aye. Raisin Temple. Is it a Raisin or Raisin Temple? Raisins. It's Raisin, yeah. Or Raisin, I don't know. Boom. Boom. It's actually be music from 11 then. Well done, Lyn, well done. You have done my friend a great kindness, one we shall not soon forget. I am not sure what's going on, and I'm afraid to ask. Oh ho ho, you needn't be so concerned. You know well the power of the Kojin's incantations, yes? I have but asked Soroban to undergo a little training that he might assist us with the maintenance of the wards. He has demonstrated a remarkable aptitude thus far, in fact. How much longer must I continue? Concentrate. Less chatting, more chanting. What youthful energy! It's been far too long since we had the pleasure of such company. Not since Tenzin, I imagine. I'm beginning to ask, what sort of man was Tenzin? We only just learned the stories, and you've already said they were half wrong. Curious, are you? Very good, very good. Far too many people have no interest in the past. What to say, what to say? Well, for one, Tenzin was blessed with the self-same power Lin possesses, the Echo, I believe it is sometimes called. Alas, as you probably know from personal experience, such individuals are often regarded with suspicion, if not outright fear. Nevertheless, Tenzin was a generous soul who was ever eager to aid his fellow man. Indeed, he died as he lived, fighting for the sake of those he loved. You see, when he faced Koryu, we four lords were still quite young and weak, not even auspicious in truth, and we could but look on helplessly as the two dragged one another onto the brink of death. With the last of his strength, Tenzin imprisoned the mortally wounded Koryu. He then bequeathed to us a sacred treasure, a crystal which shone with an otherworldly light. Oft have I wondered if this crystal was the source of the powers we would grow to possess. Would we have become the four lords without it? In my heart, I think not. We built this temple to strengthen the wards and safeguard the Ruby Sea in Tenzin's stead. His legacy will be ours, and so it has been to this day. And so it will continue to be, but only if we can rely upon you to quell the Aramitama of our comrades. That can wait, though. Byakko needs his rest, and so do you, Lin. In that case, it'd probably be best if I went back to Kagane. There's no telling what mischief that man will get up into my absence. I too should take my leave. Doubtless I am needed in Tamamisu. Oh ho ho, you're not going anywhere. Your training is far from finished, my friend. But I can't possibly refuse a request of the four lords, can I? Ugh. I hate to impose upon you, Lin, but perhaps you can go to Tamamisu in my stead? It may be some time before I'm permitted to return home. Okay. You okay? Let's go and swap back to Durgan. Hi, Durgan. Also, look at this freaking crystal in its, like, Dawn Trail variant. Look at this majesty, dude. Beautiful. Soroban will be staying with Gembu for a time. How wonderful to hear. I've no doubt he will make the most of his blessed opportunity. Oh, I have another mission for you. It was delivered personally by an unusual cat, on auspice, I presume. You are welcome to come and go from the temple as you like. Furry will remain at his post above ground. You need only seek him out. I should be glad if you would take him up on his invitation and look in on Soroban every now and then. After all, he is in essence our representative there. Next. A pleasure as always, a pleasure as ever to see you, my friend. Would that I could say the same for Soroban. He has yet to return to Tamamisu, so I can only assume he is still busy undergoing Gembu's rigorous training. Hello, Lin. Is my link pearl working? So unreliable, these little things. I'm gonna pay a visit to Raisin Temple to see Soroban. Give him a treat to keep his spirits up. If you're available, you should come too. I hope you haven't forgotten how to get there, but in case you have, look for the cute animal trying not to look like a guard on duty in the middle of the volcanic island. I was, of course, not privy to your conversation just now, but on the off chance you are bound for Raisin Temple, give Soroban and Gembu my regards. Raisin Temple. Raisins. Raisins. Let's take a boat again, because it's much faster than flying all the way over there. Just in my personal experience. It makes me feel better. You're good, but I'm better. So many good memes. You know, is it really a meme? Well, it's a voice. It's a voice. Just a piece of dialogue from Star Fox. Which does have a lot of memes in it, so I suppose. Suppose it could qualify as a meme. A meme. Head for a temple, or just taking the wonderful smoky air. I'll go in the temple, thank you. I'm good. Yo. Oh, well met, brave adventurer. You are come alone this day. What of the urchin girl I recall nipping at your heels? That's Tataru. Tataru. And I'll thank you not to forget it, or else you'll get no takoyaki from me. Oh my. That would be most unfortunate. My sincerest apologies. I shall endeavor to remember little urchin Tataru. Of course, your name I will not soon forget, for you saved my dear friend Byakko from descending into madness. It is good that you are here, Lin. Soroban has made great strides in his training. It is true, but I believe we need to consider more drastic methods. Though he is not without potential, Soroban, as he is, simply lacks divinity. Should we carry on as we are, he may not be ready when we have need of his strength. As with Byakko before, there will come a time when we must confront Seiryu and Suzaku, and quell the raging Aramitama within them. Accordingly, we must use every means at our disposal, no matter how dangerous, to ensure we are prepared. No matter how dangerous? What exactly do you have in mind? Oh, there's no need for fearful trembling or withdrawing into one's shell. All I would have you do is open a box. Oh, is that all? I've opened my fair share of boxes. But know that it is no ordinary box you must open. It is a Tamate Bako of geomancy, a sacred vessel which harbors the very power of time itself. And yet, you say there is no need for fearful trembling? This box sounds terribly dangerous. To what end would you have me open it? That you may bathe in its temporal magics and age 1,000 years in an instant. That you may undergo the change and become an auspice, albeit until the magics dissipate. You would have me become an auspice like the Four Lords? Hold on, Lin. Didn't you come across one of these Tamate Bako and Shisui the Violet Tides? You did, didn't you? I'm aware of similar relics in the possession of the Rain. However, their magics only alter the appearance of those exposed. Mummer's trick, a glamour, altogether unlike the phenomenal power of the Tamate Bako we seek. Know that this is no legend, but incontrovertible truth, for the one who created the Tamate Bako of geomancy was a fellow auspice. Like many of us, he had lived long enough to see comrades become consumed by the Aramitama, see them descend into madness, and lay waste to the lands they had sworn to protect. And, like many of us, he had no choice but to put an end to their rampages. This auspice knew full well that he was destined to share their fate, and so before he too fell in from grace, he resolved to craft the Tamate Bako of geomancy. And when his work was complete, he bathed in its magics, until he was no more. How come he chose to die while his mind was still his own? I don't know what to say. Once the true potential of the box was understood, that it could bring death to an auspice, it was decided that it should be placed on a lock and key in the Swallow's compass, until we had need of it. However, the Grand Mausoleum of King Ganon has been abandoned to the Shikigami, forever bound to its halls as guardians, and only a warrior of surpassing strength can hope to overcome their trials. Steel yourself, Soroban, until the moment Lin returns with the Tamate box of geomancy, or the Tamate Bako of geomancy. You must train like you have never trained before. Yes, of course. Alright. I was wondering when we would need to yes, I was wondering when we would need to do this dungeon. And now I see. Now I see. If you're wondering, yes, we are going to be doing another dungeon. Didn't I just say it? It's like I was wondering when dungeon, whatever. Man, my mind is all over the place lately. Such is the way of things. Well, such is the way of things with me. I've heard people call it a coping mechanism. Me forgetting things. Which is, well, you know, there's some truth to that probably. Elation and trepidation. That's a pretty good question. Okay. Well, if you're gonna shove it in my face, you know. Who am I to, you know, deny? Oh, hey, you made it. Finally. I've only been waiting here forever and a day. But hey, it's not like we've got a potential calamity to worry about or anything. Anyway, I've already taken care of the wars that's sealing the tomb's entrance, so you're free to go in and get the box. But whatever you do, don't open it. Oh, and one more thing. I'll wager they told you about the Shikigami, but forgot to mention that the box itself is guarded by one of us. A tough beggar and a half. But you're a pretty tough beggar yourself, eh? You gave Byakko what for, after all. Just don't say I didn't warn you. The Swallow's Compass. Now accessible. Anyway, I'm gonna go and queue up for this and probably wait a million years to get in there, so I'll meet you guys back here once the queue pops. Alright, that was I think 18 minutes? Jesus, actually it's not too bad for TPS. But it's a dungeon which is easier to queue in than a trial, so welcome to the Swallow's Compass. This place, I used to like this dungeon until I grinded it. Yeah. There's a certain thing later in the game that requires you to do grind level 70 content, and this dungeon popped up a lot. This dungeon and something else too, though. Which one was it, though? Oh, I already have fast ones? Nice. Anyway, this is the dungeon that appeared like the most out of all of the level 70 dungeons I was queuing up for. With that, and I also grinded this place later on for a really dumb reason. In my humble opinion. I'm not gonna go into that because I'm ashamed of of that miscalculation. Anyway, the beginning of this dungeon is kind of slow. That's the annoying part of it. You can't really do a big pull. You go into room per room, elemental rooms. This place is all about geomancy, so it's all elemental stuffs. But yeah, you can't really do any big pulls. Also, we've been running like consecutively into Pictoman, so it doesn't surprise me because, you know, a lot of people are still leveling it up, but it's just kind of funny to me. So yeah, Dragoon is another one of those that has changed, I would say, a considerable amount. To a really good way also. I really like the way that Dragoon has changed. I don't have to deal with Dragon Sight anymore. That doesn't exist anymore, which is fucking amazing. Because Dragon Sight was so annoying. You always have to like target another party member. I hate the skills where you have to target another party member as like a DPS, for instance. If you have to do it like a lot. Like Dancer has to do it, sure. But Dancer only has to do it every now and then. While like Dragoon needed to do it... Actually no, Dancer only needs to do it once in theory. As long as, you know, everything doesn't go to shit. While like Dragoon needed to do it every... Was it 120 or was it every 60 seconds? That I do not remember there. Either way, I didn't like it. That is all I can say. And now you can just, I don't know, it just, everything just feels nicer, better, stronger, faster. Right, so after we've gone all the way around, we have gotten rid of all the elemental seals. Which allows us to destroy this seal and fight Otengu. Ye! You are not the geomancers, must die. Oh! I need to use my efficiency. Anyway, this guy's gonna make fireballs appear. Which are going to slowly just spin around and going to hit you with separation if you get hit. Which lowers your HP and increases the amount of damage you take. In general, try not to get hit. Wow, the Tengu, the look away mechanic. If you look at him, you will be confused. Or like, I think it's Hysteria, which will make you just run around in random places. And get hit by a lot of those balls. And then Clout of the Tengu. which is going to do AoE damage and also make the fireballs blow up. Might of the Tengu is, I think, a Time Buster. It sure is. Anyway, this guy's fucking dead. Dang diggly dead. Because, once again, we have a Pictomancer, and Pictomancers do a lot of damage. Kind of a ridiculous amount of damage. Anyway, Bone Wicca gear is something that people tend to like for glam purposes. It's also, this is I think the only place where you can get these usually. Like it's one of those like exclusive glamour things that you can only get in this dungeon. There's no other variant of it, it's just all here. Use my Life Surge. Oh no, watch out, it's Lieutenant Life Surge. As you can see, you get either hide behind the wall or like on either side of the wall or whatever. You're either gonna get knocked into the wall or you're not gonna get knocked around the wall. To avoid being, well, pushed back constantly. Especially when you're a tank, you don't want to get knocked around too much. That's gonna make people very annoyed very quickly. Bad breath. Let's not get hit by that, because that's a nightmare for the healer. Right, next one of these. I love the aesthetic, by the way, of this place. The aesthetics in this place are amazing. Right, let's go and do one of these. Whoopsie, I pressed the wrong button. I pressed another button by instinct. As is the way it goes when everything has changed. Still tend to press buttons from my old rotations. There we go. More Bone Wicca stuff. We get our next boss. This Lark boy. Dai Darabocci. Go get him, Chief. Right, so he's going to hit certain sides of the arena with his arms. Don't want to get hit by that, of course. Also gonna hit people with these smaller conals and normal AoEs. It's just a lot of avoiding AoEs, like usual. Swallow you, consume you. I think he's gonna hit the middle of the arena now, yeah. And that's gonna turn into a pool where you sink in and die if you stay in it too long. And I think it also expands the longer the battle goes on. If I recall correctly. Mountain Falls. Ooh. Barely avoided that. The lake widens. Yep. As expected. Let's go in. My buffs going. The lake widens even further. But he's dead. And usually the fight doesn't last longer than that. That was not exceptionally fast. There's probably more mechanics to all these bosses, but yeah, we won't really see them unless if I do it at min-item level. And even with doing it at min-item level, I'm not 100% sure if you would even see everything. Because you still have potency changes, entire job changes, just the entire system changing. Which would happen, which is what happened in Shadowbringers, where they removed freaking TP. So in Stormblood you still have to deal with TP. There we go. I do think the thing that like is a little bit annoying about this dungeon, like especially if you need to grind it, is it's pretty long, I would say. But a dungeon of a pretty decent length. And all the pulls you can do, they're not really great. You cannot do a lot of really large pulls in this place. You get blocked by a lot of like gimmicks. Like for instance the water hallways. And in the beginning with it just being like one room at a time. It's only over here at the end where it kind of gets a little more interesting. But even then it's still really not that many you can pull. Dragon Weasel? How did I just notice? What the fuck? A Dragon Weasel. That is a scary freaking idea. Oh, get to ride the clouds even higher up. To reach the top of the smallest compass. I should just do AoEs. I love the fact that I now, as Dragoon, have the freaking AoE skill to give me power surge. That's such a nice. Oh. Doing like any Heaven Sword or Realm Reborn content and doing AoEs with just Doom Spike is horrible. Anyway, hope you were expecting to fight Wukong today. It is the boy. Shishing dashing. Right, he has a couple of attacks he can do, both ends. It has two variations. When it's really long and it's lightning, you're going to need to be close to it because it's going to be a donut. He also has another version where it is short and it doesn't have lightning on it, and that's just going to be a normal AoE around it. We may see it in the fight, or we may not. I do not know. Mount Huago. That is just rate point damage. And we get monkey magics. We get a little DPS check. With some AoEs here and there. Nothing too crazy. And now we get splitting hairs. Where he's going to split in two. As the Monkey King is wont to do. Alright, we have two both ends. One with the lightning, one without. Go to the one with the lightning. And you win. You also kind of want to try to kill these dudes at the same time. Because if you kill one of them, he's just going to try to get another clone. Even though it's going to be weaker in terms of HP, but still. It'd be better to get rid of him in one go. Alright, when he does this, it's going to knock you, and it's going to do a knockback. So make sure you... Well, actually, this... I guess it may depend on how far you are from him or something. I don't understand. Sometimes it knocks you away, sometimes it doesn't. In the end. Why? off he goes. And everybody just leaves. Let's see. These do look pretty decent though, all things considered. These fucking boots are horrible though. And it's also dyeable gear, which is a pretty big thing too, I would say. Okay, let's get back to Genbu. Actually, that is what we will do. Yep, that makes sense. No, that's what we will be doing in the next episode. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Little Darren, where we were playing more Final Fantasy XIV. At the next episode, we are going to go and continue our little adventure with the Four Lords. Goodbye.